Have you ever thought about a love so powerful, a bond so deep, that it forces you to choose between your own happiness and a debt you feel you can never, ever repay? Well, today we're diving into a story where loyalty and love collide, forcing one man to make an absolutely impossible choice.
And boom, this question from Sundri cuts right to the heart of the conflict. In a world where she's basically being treated like an object to be claimed, she's demanding her humanity. This isn't just about who she loves, it's about her fundamental right to choose her own destiny. Okay, so let's get into it. At its core, this is a story about three people. We've got Ghulam, a doctor from a pretty humble background. Then there's Badshah, a super powerful and wealthy government minister. And caught between them is Sundri, the woman they both love. Now, here's the complication. Ghulam and Badshah were raised as brothers, which creates this incredibly tangled web of loyalty, love, and social obligation.
And right here, the power imbalance at the center of this whole story just becomes crystal clear. Badshah, you see him here as the king. He sees love as a game of patience and possession. He's willing to wait because he thinks his power and status will eventually win her over. But Sundri, she's already made her choice. She doesn't want a king. She wants Ghulam, the man she actually loves.
But to really get why this choice is so agonizing for Ghulam, we have to look back. It's not as simple as two men falling for the same woman. Their entire lives, their very identities are built on this complicated, painful history that binds them together in ways you just can't imagine.
The root of this whole conflict, it lies with Ghulam's mother. As Ghulam puts it, they belong to the poor and destitute class. And in their world, that's not just a label. It's practically a life sentence of servitude. They've always been dependent on Badshah's family for their survival, creating this debt that feels absolutely impossible to repay.
So, how did this lifelong debt even begin? Well, get this. It started with a really cruel deception. Badshah's grandmother bought Ghulam's mother, who was just a 16-year-old girl at the time, with the sole intention of stealing her baby to pass off as her own. But fate, or something, intervened. Both Badshah and Ghulam were born around the same time, and their lives became forever intertwined by this single act of manipulation.
Okay, so let's flash forward to the present day and see how this history has shaped Badshah. His love for Sundri, it's not some sweet romance, it's a dangerous obsession. And as a powerful government minister, he is more than willing to use every single resource at his command to find her, no matter what it costs.
Sundri herself reveals just how far Badshah is willing to go. He didn't just pursue her, he abducted her and threatened her at gunpoint. This also tells you everything about Sundri's incredible strength. Faced with this powerful, aggressive man, she tells Ghulam, "I didn't flinch." She absolutely refuses to be intimidated. Badshah's obsession leads to this staggering abuse of power. He literally turns the government into his personal search party, abandoning his official duties to hunt for Sundri. This isn't a personal matter anymore, it's a full-on state-level operation, and it's all fueled by one man's blinding passion.
And this brings us right to the absolute core of Ghulam's conflict. On one side, you've got this lifetime of debt and loyalty he feels towards the man who was raised as his brother. On the other side is the genuine, reciprocated love he shares with Sundri. These two forces are on a collision course, and Ghulam is standing right in the middle of it.
The pressure from his family, especially his mother, it's immense. She reminds him that in a world that looks down on them, Badshah is the only person of status who treats them with any dignity. So in her eyes, no sacrifice is too great to repay that kindness. She tells him to give him whatever he desires.
So here's the crucial point. Here's the emotional weapon. His mother totally transforms the issue from one of gratitude to one of honor. She directly links his actions to her own social standing and her self-worth. To find Badshah wouldn't just be ungrateful, it would bring her shame. And that is an incredible emotional burden to place on her son.
But Sundri, she comes back with this powerful counter-argument. She gets his debt to Badshah. She does. But she draws a clear, defiant line. True loyalty, she argues, might mean sacrificing your life, but never, ever sacrificing your love. She refuses to be the currency used to settle his family's debt.
So he's torn between his mother's appeal to honor and Sundri's appeal to love, and Ghulam is pushed to his breaking point. The weight of his past, his mother's pleas, his sense of duty to Badshah, it all converges, forcing him to make a decision that's going to shatter everything.
So I want you to just think about this for a second. If you were in this impossible situation, with the weight of generations of servitude on your shoulders, what do you give up? Your honor or your heart?
He chooses honor. With those 7 devastating words, Ghulam sacrifices his own heart. He decides that the debt to Badshah and the duty to his mother are more important than his own happiness with Sundri.
And the lie he tells is it's brutal. He doesn't just end things, he cheapens what they had. He dismisses this profound declaration of love as just blurting something out. He tells the woman he loves that their entire connection was meaningless, a total fabrication, all to push her away and clear the path for Badshah.
And this leaves us with a final, lingering question. When a sacrifice isn't made freely, but it's forced by guilt and social pressure, is it still a noble act, or is it simply a betrayal of the one person you promised to love, and maybe more importantly, a betrayal of your own heart?